Hello everybody and welcome to Cory Turner Talks Cars, the show where we go car shopping every single day. Today we're doing a segment called I Want It. And these are cars that I want or I've had in the past and I want them again. Cars I passed on that I should have bought. It's going to count for pretty much every car, but we're going to highlight some of them. Today I want to talk about a car that I've almost bought on two different occasions when they were new, and now looking back I wish they had. And that is the one-of-a-kind Subaru SVX. You may or may not be familiar with this car, but we're going to go look for it and talk about it as we do. So let's go ahead and jump in. We're going to go to Auto Trader today and dive in and look at the Subaru SVX. This really, it's not a one-of-a-kind car, but it's actually a very special car because really there was only 24 to 25,000 of these made during its run, and it ran from 1991 truly to 1996. This here says 1997 on this one. Let's take a look at this. This was a unique car. Subaru was taking a push more into a sports grand touring car. And one of the biggest and kind of craziest features of this car is this window-in-window design that you can see here. The inside part of that window rolls down, the rest of that window didn't. It actually created a really good pocket there where you could drive with the windows down and not really be kind of buffeted by the wind. It also needed it because of the size of the door and everything. Here you can see the rear spoiler on this car. There was a model that the spoiler actually came standard. You'll see some without a spoiler and some with, but the spoiler actually put the weight in the import too much, kind of a thing that was happening at the time. So it's kind of funny that they the spoilers were put on after they got here. So that's kind of a crazy touch. So this had a 6-cylinder engine, all-wheel drive. For the most part, all-wheel drive. There's a couple of models during the 91 to 96, that model run. There were some cars that came in that didn't actually have all-wheel drive. I don't know why they did that, but the all-wheel drive really was kind of the best version. You can kind of see here, and it's kind of hard to tell in this picture, but this here along the steering wheel, along the dash, that's actually suede, and you can kind of see it runs by that vent and down that door. It was suede. I remember the first time I got in and I touched it, and I'm like, okay, that's pretty fancy, right? I mean, that was a cool touch. I didn't see that before. Of course, I had the leather and then a suede dash and suede insets on the doors. You had this wood grain that ran down the middle here, and you would push the one here in the middle. Of course, had a sunroof. Let's see if we can get back to the dash. So surely there's another picture of the dash. All right, yeah, so you can kind of see it. It had rear seats, but they were pretty small back there, so you didn't really, as you can see here, there was not a lot of leg room, but there was rear seats. You can see all the controls here. Here it is. So you can push the button and that center console would open up. Check this one out. It's got the CD player, and don't forget our tape deck. Love our tape deck. So that, of course, had the tape deck there as well. It had a lot of just great features for it. This one here has the manual. There's the tire. A pretty good trunk size. Like I say, it was a big car, and it was a heavy car, especially for Subaru. We're talking about a brand that was putting out like the Subaru Brat, and this was way before the WRX or anything like that. You got the Legacy. They did have a sports car called the XT. It was the XT series that ran from 85 to 91, and that was a really cool little small sports car. But this was their first jump into a much larger car. All right, so this one here, they're wanting $7,950 for it. We've had to search the entire United States, so these aren't just all in one area. This one is in Colorado, Pueblo, Colorado. So this is a 6-cylinder all-wheel drive, 4-speed automatic. They were all 4-speed automatics. You didn't have a choice of a manual, which would have been pretty cool. It's a 3.3 liter V6. This is the LSI. Which is the top of the line, right? And this is towards the end of the year, so that one's really pretty. Here's a 1992. Like I said, they started in 90. They really started in 91, but they came out as a 92. So this is one of the first gens here. This one only has 52,000 miles on it. They want $8,995 for it. Hey, it's seen some snow. This one here, because the windows aren't tinted, you can really see that window in window and how that center part rolls down. I thought it was just a really cool design touch. I also like, oh, battery's almost dead. I also like that the front of the car was really sloped. It was angular. It really had a look of more of an exotic sports car. But it was Subaru, and I think at that time, especially in the early '90s, I don't know if anybody was looking at Subaru for their sports car for sure. But this one's pretty good. So this is a '92. They want $8,995 for it. Let's see. This one is for sale in Washington State. All right, so Washington, that would explain some of the snow and everything we are seeing there. I think during its model run for the U.S., there was about 14,200 and maybe 50 cars totally sold in the U.S. So, I mean, it's not a one-of-a-kind, but for sure is a rare car. You don't see a lot of them. What does that mean as far as repairs? I don't know. Like we're talking about being such a big car, it was one of the first big cars that Subaru had done. Probably one of the heaviest cars Subaru had done. That I've heard that brakes can be an issue, that you kind of can wear out the brakes, and that transmissions were something. That 4-speed transmission was something to look at. All right, this one is beautiful in red, all-wheel drive. You can see the sticker there on the window. Well, this one seems to be in really, really good shape. Again, there's a window you can see through. I like the tinted windows. There's the interior. You can really see here, back here on that door, that suede hut runs up that door and then kind of comes across the dash. This here in the middle, that's the parking brake. So you just kind of pull that up. Parking brake was right in the middle. Standard on the Subarus. Of course, there's the engine, the 6-cylinder engine. Wow, this one seems to be in really good shape. Now, this one, we went through kind of fast, but I think it's listed for about $12,000. Okay, so they've taken out the factory stereo and put another one in. It still hides behind that wood panel there. Let's see, we're still going. There is the dash. Oh, only 58,082 miles. That is low miles. That leather looks to be in great shape. That is a beautiful example right there of an SVX. Let's see, where is this? So $12,000. It's a low mileage SVX, and they've owned it since 2006. And this one is located. Do we know where this one's located? Not sure. But that one is a private seller. That one's a good looking car right there. So you can find that one on Auto Trader. All right, there's not very many. Hold on, I clicked one too many. Here's a low price one. They want $1,400 for this one. It's green. We got some paint issues. This is the L. Let's see, it's a 95. So it's not the top of the line, as you can see here. This one has cloth interior. I don't think it has the suede. And you also see you got some issues there on the armrest. So this one's going to need a little bit of work to get it back to where it was. It has 95,000 miles on it. There's the engine bay. I'm going to say that's the blue. They made one in a really cool green too, but that's the blue. You can see the paint a little bit fading there on the wing. But at that price, $1,400, sorry, 95,000 miles. That one's been family owned and parked since 2010 when the transmission stopped working. So that's a project car for sure. You got to work on the transmission. Here's a 92. Oh, they only got one picture. I like it in white. It had a pearlized white that looked really, really well. Here's a 92. This is the LSL. This one is $3,500. Has 120,000 miles on it. They all were the 6 cylinders, all-wheel drive. You know, it's pretty cool to have an all-wheel drive sports car, right? Especially back in the early 90s. It's pretty nice. Oh, only 3 pictures of that one. I like it in that silver. Here you can see this one doesn't have the wings, so the spoiler on the back. So that was an option. Here's a 1992. This one has 50,000 miles on it. They want $7,900 for it. There's some scratches you can see there on the hood. And looks like maybe some paint fade on the roof line there. You can see that. So it needs a little bit of work to get it back. Kind of some wear and tear on the leather. Kind of what you would expect. These are older cars, of course. This one has the spoiler, the wing on the back. That one looks pretty good. It's got some issues. You're going to have to give it some TLC. But at the price, that one's not terrible. That one's $7,900. priced a little bit high for the work it looks like it needs, but it's lower miles. This is a 1995. This is the LSI, so this is going to be loaded up. They want $8,500 for this. It's 133,000 miles. It's got the red exterior. Well, that looks to be in really good shape. You can see the sunroof popped up there on the top. We have 14 pictures. Subaru SVX. This one's in Massachusetts. This one looks to be, that interior looks like it's in really good shape. You got some different floor mats in it. The back seat leather looks good. There's the passenger seat. Yeah, you can kind of see the suede on the dash there. There it is opened up. Earlier we saw one opened up, but there you got it. And it had a lot of buttons in it. You know, it was a button-heavy car. Good sized trunk. They got a lot of stuff in the back there you can see in the trunk. The engine bay looks pretty good. There we go, 24 valve. Look at that. That's a good looking car. So I like that one right there. That's a 1995 for $8,500. Did we say Massachusetts? I believe is where we thought that one was. So that's a look at the SVX. There's not very many. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So on Auto Trader, there's only 8 Subaru SVXs for sale. So to say it's rare, I'm probably going to go say it's rare. And what do we say? There's only about 14,250-ish that were sold in the United States when there was only 24 to 25,000 sold worldwide. So if you're wanting kind of a fingerprint car, that is one. It's true 90s. It's got that 90s flair to it. You know, it's a really cool car. So that's going to be my list on I Want It, right? The Subaru SVX 1992 through 1996. What did you think about the Subaru SVX? Did you own one? Have you ever ridden in one? I've had the fortune of being to ride in one, but man, I wish I would have bought that one. That was one that got away from me. So let me know, how was it owning a Subaru SVX? If you have one and you're having to work on repairing it, what does that look like now? What do you do about parts? Are there parts? There weren't many cars, sold here in the U.S. for sure. So let us know how that is. Remember to like, comment, and share. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let's go car shopping tomorrow.